Hello everyone, welcome back. Tom with Capo Fetish. Today we're going to talk about our top 10 favorite albums from 1981. So maybe not as stellar of a year as 1980, but 1981 did have its gems. So let's start it off here with number 10, the fourth album from The Police, The Ghost in the Machine. Fine album here. This is quite a departure from the previous three albums. Those albums had kind of the same kind of vibe, same kind of like aesthetic, should we say. But Ghost in the Machine here, they're reaching for more darker, more ambient territory. You got the first two singles here off the album, Spirits in the Material World and Everything She Does Is Magic. But I think the heart of the album lies in more of the deeper cuts. Like Invisible Sun is amazing. Just a dark, brooding, slow-moving, moody masterpiece. Then you've got side one ending with Demolition Man with this really cool horn section, this really cool beat and mood. Side two, you've got Too Much Information, Dehumanize Yourself, Secret Journey, Darkness. Really, really cool stuff. At the time, I really thought this was the best Police album. I think this one and Synchronicity are their most adventurous albums. So anyway, this is coming in at number 10 for me from 1981. Ghost in the Machine from The Police. Number 9 is Tom Petty's Hard Promises. This is coming off the heels of Damn the Torpedoes. Maybe he's getting a little bit more adventurous with his songs. Song 1, side 1, The Waiting was a huge hit. Definitely has that jingle jangle. Sounds just like a kind of like a modern day Bird song. Even his voice sounds like Roger McGuinn. Always love that song. You've got A Woman in Love, great song. Night Watchman, Something Big, King's Road ending the album on a hard feel. Side 2, Letting You Go, I Think About You on track 2. Insider, The Criminal Mind, You Can Still Change Your Mind. It's a great album. I think this is one of Tom Petty's greatest albums here. Hard Promises. And I think when this album came out, the record company wanted to charge a ridiculous amount, and Tom Petty fought it, and I think got the album down to a somewhat medium price for people to buy. But anyway, there was some kind of battle going on there with the record company. So hats off to Tom Petty, you know. So anyway, this is coming in at number 9, Tom Petty's Hard Promises. Coming in at number 8 is the Kinks, Give the People What They Want. Definitely not one of my favorite Kinks albums, but it does have some great latter-day cuts. Speaking of, the first track, Around the Dial, one of their just most rocking songs. This is probably the most hard-hitting Kinks album of all time. They definitely wanted to appeal to a larger audience. They were at their peak of success, I think, with this album. Playing arenas, which was odd because, you know, prior to that, they were only playing like small theaters. But this had them playing the Forum in 1981. And you know, the music kind of appeals to that kind of arena rock. But Around the Dial kicks ass. You got Predictable, which is a great video they did. I never liked Destroyer. I just thought that song was just ridiculous. Back to Front, they're almost bordering on metal on that song. And it ends with Better Things, which I think is just a great, great single. Very positive, very upbeat, great Ray Davies song. Yeah, maybe not Arthur or Lola versus Powerman, but it does have its moments, and the great moments are some of their best latter-day moments. So the Kinks, Give the People What They Want, coming in at number 8. Number 7 is Juju from Susie and the Banshees. You got guitarist John McKeoch on board for this album, and I think he was on most of Kaleidoscope as well, but, you know, one of the greatest album openers. Spellbound, that guitar lick, amazing. You've got Arabian Nights, Into the Light, just very, very atmospheric, moody, dark music here. This is probably their darkest record. And they went on to do a lot of different types of sounds and styles and moods, but this one is them at their darkest and greatest. Juju by Susie and the Banshees, coming in at number 7. Coming in at number 6 is the debut from The Replacements. Sorry Ma Forgot to Take Out the Trash. All the elements of early Mats are here on this record. Bob Stinson here is at his best. You got the original lineup, Tommy Stinson. I think he was only about 11 when this was recorded. You got Chris Mars, and you've got Paul Westerberg. And even in this early, Incarnation, an early album here. You could see the greatness of Paul Westerberg's songwriting, a lot of humor, just a lot of clever wordplay. Starts out with Taking a Ride, just a kick-ass start-off song. You've got softer numbers like Johnny's Gonna Die. I guess this was reportedly about Johnny Thunders. Shiftless When Idle. And you have a lot of songs that just are just a mishmash of a lot of styles. You've got like punk meeting like blues right in the middle of a song. You've got, you know, just a lot of different things that the Mats did well in the early period, just mishmashing different types of music. You've got the single on here, I'm in Trouble. Great, great rocker. And then you just got funny stuff like I Hate Music, Customer. They're not really taking themselves seriously at all at this point. But they have something original going on here. It's not really punk, but it's something different. So I love this album. Sorry Ma forgot to take out the trash from the replacements. Coming in at number 6 for me. Coming in at number 5 is the album Trust by Elvis Costello. I think this is a great album, very underrated. I think this is like a great return to form after Get Happy. Get Happy is kind of all over the place. This kind of is more reminiscent of his first 3 albums, very hook-filled. Those great melodies that Costello cranks out so well. Kicking off with Clubland. Oh, what a great tune. What a great tune. You've got Lover's Walk, Watch Your Step. Great song. Side 2, New Lace Sleeves. What an amazing song that is. Just chock full of really great songs. Different Finger, White Knuckles, Big Sister's Clothes. Yeah, there's a few duds on here I don't really care for, but overall, I think it's very underrated. One of his better early albums. So this is coming in at number 5 for me, Elvis Costello's Trust. Coming in at number 4 is the Church's debut album of Skins and Heart. Now this is the British version. The American version did come out till 1982, and I actually prefer that version better because they included more singles on this album from that period. I think of Skins and Heart doesn't really have the flow of this one. This one is like, I think my favorite Church album. It's just especially side 1, The Unguarded Moment, one of the great lost singles of the 80s. Too Fast for You, For a Moment We're Strangers, Tear It All Away, Don't Open the Door to Strangers. Side 1 is just absolutely flawless. So they're from Australia. Great guitar work, kind of a jingle jangle kind of thing going on, but probably a little more atmospheric. Side 2 starts off with Bel Air, Sisters, Memories in a Future Tense, and then the epic Is This Where You Live in side 2. This is a perfect record. No one ever really talks about it. I've always loved it. So I prefer the American version, just called The Church, over the import of Skins and Heart. So this is coming in at number 4, The Church's first album. Coming in at number 3 is the second Pretenders album, Pretenders 2. Not as stellar as their debut, but I mean, how can you even compare to that first record, right? But it does have some absolute gems on here. Which is really weird to me, though, is how they included, you know, Message of Love and Talk of the Town, which had been released for over a year at that point. But they're on here. They're great singles. Some of my favorite songs are kind of the ballads. Birds of Paradise, English Roses. I think if you want a good representation of this album, pick up Pretenders 2 Super Deluxe. I've mentioned this ad nauseum in previous videos. But there's, let me get that. Right here, there's a complete performance at the Santa Monica Civic in 1981 in September, promoting this record. And it was originally played on FM radio, and I guess it was finally released. It's absolutely the Pretenders at their most stellar sounding live with this incarnation. And I think some of the best versions on Pretenders 2 are featured on this live performance right here. So there's a lot more punch. James Honeyman Scott stretches out a little more. His playing is phenomenal. So to me, this is a real better representation of Pretenders 2, this live performance here from that tour. So Pretenders 2 for me, coming in at number 3. Coming in at number 2 is King Crimson's Discipline. I really, really like this version of King Crimson with Tony Levin on bass, Bill Bruford on drums, Adrian Belew on guitar, vocals, and of course Robert Fripp. You could tell that they took a lot of influence from Talking Heads, but they kind of twisted around, did it their own way. There's just some phenomenal playing on here and really cool tunes. It starts off with Elephant Talk. I think one of the greatest songs on here, though, is this slow, really moody, atmospheric song called Mate Kuda Sa. Just incredible, incredible vocals from Adrian Belew on that song. The rest of the album, when they're kind of doing their upbeat kind of music, it sounds a lot more like David Byrne. But on this track, man, he really shows off his vocal prowess. Other great songs are The Sheltering Sky, and Indiscipline is great. Just an amazing record. Just an amazing record. Yeah. I hold this album in high regard. Really great playing. And Robert Fripp's playing, again, really just creative and just out of this world. Everybody's really just on top of their game here. Highly recommended if you haven't heard this version of King Crimson. Discipline, coming in at number 2 for me from 1981. And coming in at number 1 for me from 1981 is X's Wild Gift. Not only is this my favorite album from 1981, it's actually one of my favorite albums of all time. It's classified as punk, but I think it's just a great rock and roll record. The sequencing is fantastic. The songs are fantastic. I mean, every song just delivers. Billy Zoom is just on fire on this record, and I think this has some of John Doe and Exene's best songwriting. Starting off with the Once Over Twice, going into the kind of fast, propulsive We're Desperate. Adult Books has kind of that 50s rock and roll vibe. Universal Corner, one of my absolute favorites, has kind of like a glam rock guitar kind of part. Then it has I'm Coming Over, just real fast punk. It's Who You Know. In This House That I Call Home. Some Other Time, one of my favorite X songs. And then White Girl, in my opinion, that is one of the greatest guitar licks of all time. God, that's so amazing. Then you got Beyond and Back. God, how does Billy Zoom do what he does? I mean, that opening lick, incredible. That kind of rockabilly thing. And then you got Back to the Bass, When Our Love Passed Out on the Couch, and then Year One. Just absolutely love the harmonies of John Doe and Exene. To me, that's what makes X. I mean, there's a lot of great elements. You got DJ Bone Breaks, just dead on, perfect drumming, just like a metronome. You got Billy Zoom's just stellar guitar work. And then you've got those amazing songs and harmonies. And I think the harmonies are really at the heart of X. And that's what really pulled me in. The first time I ever heard X, I was in a Moby Disc record store in Canoga Park back in 1980. And they had Los Angeles playing. And to me, it sounded like the Jefferson Airplane on like speed. I just remember those backup vocals sounding like, well, those harmonies sounding like Marty Balin. No, not Marty Balin. Paul Kantner and Grace Slick. And it just absolutely drew me in, and I had to buy Los Angeles and then this album and then the rest of the discography. But yeah, for me, this is one of the greatest rock and roll albums of all time. I love Wild Gift. Still play it to this day quite a bit. Just has a great upbeat, life-affirming vibe, and I dig it. This is coming in at number 1. Let me know what your favorites are from 1981 in the comments section. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.